Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about a couple of Kino Lorber releases and I'll be telling you a bit about them. So let's get into it. So I have with me about it's five single titles and two box sets. So I haven't seen the majority of these, so they'll be first time watches, obviously. And the majority of them, I would say actually all of them, come from the Universal Library. Now, if you don't know what Kino Lorber is, it's basically another boutique Blu-ray label like Criterion and Arrow, and they release a lot of classics, a lot of underrated classics from the Selznick Library, MGM UA, Universal, obviously. So they release, a lot of titles. And recently they've been doing a lot of 4Ks. I have one of them, not in this batch, obviously. But they've been doing, with those 4Ks, a lot of more popular movies. More popular, older movies, let's just say. So I'm not going to be talking about those. I'm going to be talking about more obscure titles, but with popular actors of that era, classic Hollywood, because that's, what I love. So, without further ado, I'll just be going in alphabetical order. I'll be starting off with the first one, which is The Bride Comes Home. So, The Bride Comes Home was released in 1935. It was directed by Wesley Ruggles. I believe it was the first or second pairing between Colbert and McMurray. Came either after or before The Gilded Lily. And yeah, I'm just very excited to watch this movie. I've never seen it before, and it seemed like an interesting title to check out because of the stars. It also has Robert Young, and I believe, there's no one. Oh, there's Donald Meek. But yeah, I'm really excited to see this. There's not much in terms of special features, typical with Kino, but it does come with an audio commentary from Lee Gambin and the theatrical trailer. Normally with Kino, they include, in terms of their extras, they included a commentary and a bunch of trailers, a trailer gallery. With this one, it was just the original theatrical trailer, which is nice. And it's nice to see this finally got an HD release. It doesn't say whether or not this is a 2K or 4K master, but, it's like I said before, it's nice to have this disc finally in HD. Since I've been wanting to get more into William Wyler and John Barrymore, I decided to get Counselor at Law. This is a pre-code film from 1932. It's with Melvin Douglas, Isabel Jewell, and Bebe Daniels, and that's a great supporting cast, so it just adds to my interest into this film. I'm not the biggest John Barrymore fan. I would say I prefer Lionel Barrymore over him, but I've been wanting to get more into his work. I've only seen about, I would say, 4 of his films: Grand Hotel, 20th Century, Night Flight, and Dinner at 8, with Grand Hotel being my favorite film and performance with him. So, I'm happy that Kino has released this. It comes from a brand new 2K master. It comes with an audio commentary by film historian / filmmaker Daniel Kremer and Catherine Weiler, who I believe is related to William Wyler because they have the same last name. And if not, that would be a coincidence. And it comes with trailers, so that means, maybe 1 or 2. And sometimes they don't even include the theatrical trailer for the film. They just include trailers that are related to the film because of a similar cast member or production. Same studio. So, but still, it's nice that they include trailers, and they're not normally, restored or HD. So, but it's still nice to get this in HD, like I mentioned, with The Bride Comes Home, and yeah, I'm excited to see this one. That is Counselor at Law. Then I have a title that's produced by Ernst Lubitsch. It has a great cast with two of my favorite actors of all time, and that is Desire with Gary Cooper and Marlene Dietrich. It's directed by Frank Borzage, and like I mentioned before, it's produced by the immortal Ernst Lubitsch. Now, by the looks of it, it looks more like a Lubitsch movie than a Borzage movie, because Borzage made lots of like war and more dramatic stuff like the Mortal Storm and Little Man What Now and A Farewell to Arms, and I'm a fan of those films, but I always prefer comedies. So it's nice to see him directing a comedy with two of my favorite actors of all time. I originally wanted to see this on TCM. I started it, never finished it, only got through like maybe 5 minutes, and I don't remember much from it. So I'm glad that I got the Blu-ray, and it's a title I've been wanting to see for a long time, and I love the use of the original poster art. Um, it's from a brand new 2K master, as is with most of these. It comes with two audio commentaries, one from Sam Deacon and David Duvall. So it's nice that Kino has included two, and it comes with the theatrical trailer. So that is desired, and I'm very excited to see this one. Then I have another Cooper vehicle. This time he's paired with Carol Lombard and Shirley Temple, and that is Now and Forever, directed by Henry Hathaway. This is a movie I've always been interested in because of its cast. I am a huge fan of Carol Lombard, as you'll see later. And Shirley Temple, I haven't seen much of her. I've actually only seen the two of her films that she made at RKO in the late 1940s, which are The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer, which I watched for Cary Grant and Myrna Loy, and also the immortal masterpiece Fort Apache from John Ford. So it's gonna be nice to see her in a much younger role. I've been always meaning to watch some of her early films, but I never got around to it because there's so much to watch. So this will be a nice introduction to her period in Hollywood at that time. So this is from another one that's from a brand new 2K master. It comes with a audio commentary from film historian Lee Gambin and costume historian Elisa, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Rose, and then it comes with the theatrical trailer. Now, I prefer this artwork over the one that's used on the Indicator Blu-ray that was just announced recently. The Indicator Blu-ray uses the theatrical poster art. I'll put that on the screen if I remember, while this one uses I don't know if this is theatrical poster art. This is, new for this release, but it's really nice, and I really like how it looks. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see this and Desire. So these will be two brand new Gary Cooper movies watched. So, I'm very glad that I got or bought these. So the last one is one I've actually seen before. I watched it very recently, but I wanted to buy it because it's very hard to find it anywhere else. This has the Indicator Blu-ray, but that's region B, so I just obviously my options were limited. So that is You and Me. This was on the Criterion channel last or 2 months ago. It left recently, but I'm not in the I don't live in the US, so I couldn't watch it on the Criterion channel because it was a US exclusive along with Dinner at 8 for that particular collection that they have called Rebels at the Typewriter, which has unfortunately left the channel. I watched every movie in that collection because I was really interested, but this was one of my favorites. And it's directed by Fritz Lang. It stars Sylvia Sidney and George Raft, and I like both of them, more Sidney than Raft, but Fritz Lang is the big draw for me. And this is a great movie. It's about I'd rather read the back of the back instead of what my plot descriptions are because that's normally better. So it's basically about former convicts working at a department store, and they fall in love, and the George Raft character doesn't know that Sylvia Sidney is a convict and that she can't get married to him. Basically that, it's basically like that, and I don't want to spoil the rest of the movie and, ruin it. But anyways, this is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It comes from a brand new 2K master, and it comes with a audio commentary from Simon Abrams and the theatrical trailer. So, this is a nice sort of spiffy release. It's probably not as good as the Indicator release, but it's still nice to finally have a Blu-ray of this and add this to my Fritz Lang collection. Then I jumped to the two box sets that I got. I'll start off with the one I already opened because I already watched one of the films in it, and I've seen all of the films because it's from my favorite actor of all time, and if you know who that is, you know who it is, and that is the Cary Grant collection. Now, this comes with three of his Paramount films, I believe. I believe the one of them is produced by Walter Ranger, but I think it was released by Paramount, if that makes sense. But I'll show you the three films inside because I actually already opened this. And it's nice packaging. It reminds me of the Warner Brothers signature collections that they did back in the DVD days, and they actually did one for the Warner Brothers Cary Grant titles like Destination Tokyo and the aforementioned The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer and Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House. Anyways, these, like I mentioned before, are some of his early Paramount slash Walter Ranger titles. So I'll start off with the one that I did watch or slash rewatch, and I enjoyed it much more. It is Ladies Should Listen. This is a very goofy early Grant vehicle. It pairs him with Francis Drake, George Barbier, and Edward Everett Horton before Holiday. So it's a very, you know, for me, it's a very star-studded cast. But this is a very, like I mentioned before, goofy movie. It's not for everyone. The first time I saw it, I thought it was pretty bad, but the short runtime of only 62 minutes, sort of, you know, helped me give this a 6 on 10. And so when I rewatched this, I ended up giving it a 6 on 10 again, but I gave it a heart on Letterboxd because I enjoyed the goofiness of it, and it's delightful. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's basically about this telephone operator. She warns this man that the woman that he's in love with is planning a scheme on him, and he doesn't believe her. So the title of it isn't the greatest, but the movie itself is a lot of fun, and I would recommend it to anyone who is a fan of Cary Grant. So yeah, that's Ladies Should Listen. So now this was a recent one that I watched, so I'm not going to be watching the Kino Lorber Blu-ray for a while, but I did like it. I did really like it, and it was a lot of fun. And that is Wedding Present, directed by Richard Wallace, released in 1936, starring Joan Bennett and Cary Grant. And this is basically like a newspaper story. It involves this archduke and gangsters, and it's a bit wacky, but I really like it. And Bennett and Grant have great chemistry. Obviously, Joan's sister, Constance Bennett, would be paired with Cary the next year in Topper, which is a movie I still have to see. It has a Blu-ray release, I believe, from VCI. I haven't been able to pick that one up, but you know, on Amazon's out of stock, so I'm gonna have to wait for that one to come back in stock. But anyways, this is a really fun movie. It also has George Bancroft. I believe Gene Lockhart's also in this. Yeah, and William Demarest is also in it. So I didn't mention for Ladies Should Listen. It doesn't mention whether or not it has a 2K or 4K master or whatever, but the only special features on the Ladies Should Listen disc, which I did watch, was the trailers, which came for came the sorry, the two trailers that this disc came with were two Cary Grant films released in 1933, The Eagle and the Hawk and Alice in Wonderland, and I still haven't seen those, but um, it's nice that they included those. I'm a little upset that they didn't include a commentary. I guess they didn't feel it was important enough, but for the rest of these, they do come with a commentary, and this is one from Kat Ellinger, and then it comes with trailers. So I hope it's more Cary Grant trailers because I would like to watch those. But there's a nice use of original poster art here, and I didn't show off the interior of the disc or the packaging. I don't know how to describe it. The case, sorry. It's basically just the typical Kino Lorber disc, how it looks, just like that with the title there. So I don't really need to showcase it for the rest of them. But anyways, that is Wedding Present, and I'm excited to rewatch this. I won't rewatch it for a while though. But the next one I think it's a rewatch. It's an imminent rewatch because I saw this back in like June of last year, and it was like the earliest Cary Grant movie I ever, or like one of the earlier Cary Grant movies I saw, and that is Big Brown Eyes, with once again pairing Joan Bennett and Cary Grant with Walter Pidgeon, directed by the great Raoul Walsh. So this is a fun movie. It's a little bit silly when you take a look at what it's about. It's basically about the death of a child or the murder of a child or something. I don't remember. My memory is fuzzy when it comes to the earlier Cary Grant movies because they're mostly all kind of bunched up together for me, except for ones that stand out like Blonde Venus and 30 Day Princess. But I like watching the pairing of Cary Grant and Joan Bennett, and I actually enjoyed this the first time I saw it. I think I gave it like a 8 on 10. So I want to see if that rating is still high. Um, but yeah, it like the rest of these, it doesn't say whether or not it comes with a 2K or 4K master, um, but it does come with an audio commentary from Nick Pinkerton, and it comes with trailers, and I hope it comes with the trailer for this. Now the poster art is not my favorite. I like the one that they use on Letterboxd with uh, Joan Bennett's big brown eyes, and then like at the bottom there's sort of a small Cary Grant smoking a cigarette with his hat on. That's my favorite poster of the film. But this one's nice enough, and I'm just glad that I have this in my collection. I'm glad I have all of these in my collection now because there are some of the lesser known Cary Grant titles, and I just want to have them in my collection so I could rewatch them. And I don't own many of the earlier Cary Grant movies. The only one I have is Blonde Venus, and that one came with the Dietrich and Sternberg set. So there's that. Then the final set that I got is one I'm planning to watch next month. All three films I've never seen them before. Two of them are like some of my most sorry. Two of these are ones that I'm really intrigued by. So this is the Carole Lombard set. This is the second Carole Lombard set. The first one comes with a lot of pre-code stuff. It's not like some of the more interesting Carole Lombard titles to me. It's like Fast and Loose and No Man of Her Own. I think that's what it's called. And then there's what's the other one? Man of the World with William Powell. So I like the stars, but the movies are not like the most interesting to me. So this one has, much more interesting titles. It has Hands Across the Table, Love Before Breakfast, and The Princess Comes Across. Now, Hands Across the Table and Princess Comes Across are the two I'm most interested in because it pairs her with Fred MacMurray. Now, I haven't seen any of their collaborations, but I heard that they're like a lot of fun to watch. So I'm just very excited to watch these, and I'm not going to open this up. I'll open it up when I watch all these movies, but I'm very excited to dive into this. And I'll be diving into this along with, where is it? Now and Forever, because I have a whole bunch of Lombard titles to watch now, and I may have her as my Actress of the Month next month, so watch out for that. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Take these titles as recommendations as what to buy when these titles go on sale or when Kino Lorber posts a new sale, because you will be getting your money's worth, because there's some great movies and some underrated, obscure movies on Kino Lorber's website. If you live in the US, it's perfect to order off of their website. I don't, so I just order off of Amazon. But still, I'm very happy with this, and I am very excited to watch all the ones I haven't seen before, as well as rewatch the ones that I have been meaning to rewatch for a very long time now. So anyways, that's a wrap.